Good morning, my darling dreamers. Welcome to Throne Talks. My name is Nilsa, for those of you who don't know me. This reading's for entertainment purposes only. So, what we're going to talk about today is what's called Six of Cups energy, being nostalgic, thinking about the past. So, a lot of you who are maybe just starting out in your spiritual journey, you're seeing things that say, heal your inner child, but they don't say how, right? Or you're like, okay, but what does that even mean? How do I even know if my inner child is wounded? Like, why are you assuming? So this is where you can start. We have reflecting, and I want you to get a notebook too. We have reflecting on what your favorite things are. That's where you're going to start, because we're just so used to our preferences that we never think, okay, but why though? Why do I always pick pistachio ice cream? When did it start? Was it always like that? And then it kind of ripples off from there, okay? And you're going to be like, wow, Nilsa, that's so kind of easy and kind of right, and it's true. And we have your favorite, whatever it is, has it changed since childhood? This is important. Noticing, I guess you could say, like, acknowledging certain like events that might have happened around there where all of a sudden, hey, how come I don't listen to pop punk anymore? Why am I all about this acoustic? Was I seeing somebody that listens to that? Was I at the beach all the time? Why am I listening to country music now? That's an example of how like your movie taste changes, your fashion, your now, I know color-wise, we'll talk about that in another video about auras and colors and things, but even your taste in colors will change. But this is the most important thing here. Your preferences, smells are the strongest thing linked to memory. So if you're noticing like, oh no, I can't stand this smell, if you can't remember why, try to think about when it changed, and the why will spring forward. Like, oh my God, some people are like, I hate the smell of vanilla. Why? Oh, because, growing up, my uncle always had a vanilla air freshener in the car, and it just reminds me of those conversations in the car. You see what I'm saying? And so what you can do is try and develop good memories with the scent of vanilla, so that old trauma is not there and it doesn't get triggered every single time you smell vanilla. That's just an example, okay? I don't have a crazy uncle. I have awesome uncles. Okay. So let's get to the cards really quick, and then we'll get to the second part. Yeah, journaling, writing process, contemplating. This is why I told you to get a journal out and actually write this out, because you're not going to remember off the top of your head. And it's also called a free writing exercise, where you might just keep going, and you might actually get what's going to bring me to my next point. You might actually get Ace of Swords. So then we have fear, darkness, hesitation, insecurity, and know that you're protected. So like I said, some of these preferences are celebratory based, and then some are fear based, trauma based. And a lot of people will think, well, maybe I suppress this or I suppress that. But a lot of it too, I want you to write things you love, and I'm going to add this in here. I want you to also write things you avoid. Okay? This is really important, because this is going to tell you a lot about yourself. You're almost interviewing yourself. Why do you love this? Why do you avoid that? Did you even notice that you avoid this? Did you notice you avoid this color, this food, this scent? Okay? And then it might circle back to things that you're like, okay, well, what's next? What can I do to change that? Or is it just something small? Is it really affecting my everyday? Those are questions you're going to ask yourself. And that's part of the inner child healing, or the childhood healing. And this is my next part. Well, I guess it's a little, if I was writing, it'd be a little, okay, enough Virgo-ness. A little subtext there. Childhood isn't just about when you're 6 years old and your brother ate your birthday cupcake, okay? It's also adolescence. Adolescence, like, a lot of people don't talk about that. Adolescence and teenage years, those are your formative years as well. So when you're little, you learn things about biases, you learn habits, language. But then when you get older, that's when it feels like the trauma that's why people will use that expression, oh, they peaked in high school, they peaked in middle school, because there's some kind of celebration or trauma that lingers throughout the rest of your life, and it needs to be handled. Okay? Let's see. It is Pink Wednesday. I mean, you can't see I'm wearing pink shorts. We have Page of Swords. That's your inner child communicating with you. And then we have a star. We have hope. So this does feel like there's a lot of good memories tied up. It sounds obvious, like redundant, like, well, of course there's good memories tied to all my favorite things, but some of them are linked around holidays. And now there's a lot of, like, suicides around holidays, seasonal depression, people either feeling lonely or hating certain foods or movies. Like, the Grinchism. Like, I love The Grinch. It's one of my favorite childhood movies. And there's a beautiful example. What does he stand for? He stands for, like, hating Christmas. Like, okay, Nilsa, you're I guess, the Duchess of Christmas, if Mariah Carey's the Queen of Christmas, right? You're the Duchess of Christmas. Why would you love The Grinch? Because I'm a Dr. Seuss baby. And here's another example. And when I say that, when I'm doing, for those of you who haven't watched my Spirit Baby readings, I make things rhyme all the time. And I'll say, I'm a Dr. Seuss baby. Because something like that has affected my entire life. It got me into writing poetry. It got me into alliteration, mnemonics, helping to remember things. When making them rhyme will help you remember things every time. See? Okay. So we have the star card. That's number 17, and this is 1. So January 17th. Well, no, this is not 1. This is just a page. Okay. So 17th, but I heard January 17th, because usually if there's an ace is 1. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. So 6 of Cups is about the past. I don't always need cards to feel energy. I can sense them. So this is the energy that's I want you to focus on, because I do feel like there's a lot of new people here, a lot of new Fays in the Fae Hi. Hey, hi, how are you? Welcome. Bienvenidos, right? Aloha. Okay, so yeah, like I'm saying, a lot of people will tell you, well, you need to do this and you need to do that, and then okay, well then go get a healing coach, and then go do this, and then. But this is a first step. Okay, this is something you can do on your own. No excuses. You have a pen and paper. You have a journal. All right. If you're interested, if you're curious about it, which I know a lot of you are. Okay, so why, Nilsa? Why are you asking me these things, Nilly Willy? Because this will lead to this, Ace of Swords. This will lead to epiphanies. This will lead to realizations, answers. I'm going to write that down. Answers. Because that's what you're looking for when people feel quote unquote lost and they start their spiritual journey. They're looking for more. They're looking for answers, information. They're just like thirsty. They're just, feed me, right? So that's why you're doing this. It's going to give you answers. If you felt like lost or you're a puzzle, right? This is putting the beginning of putting back the pieces. There's this movie, guys, I love Legend. For those of you who know, I love Legend and Labyrinth, 2 of my favorite movies in the world besides The Count of Monte Cristo. But that was a selection made as an adult. Okay, so the main song in Legend, at the end of the song from Green Tangerine, it's called Love by the Sun. At the end of the song, they say, sweet songs of youth, the wise, the meeting of all wisdom. All of your answers to who you are found while you were being formed emotionally, and then in your 3D world. Everything is found when you reflect on all the things you think you forgot about, but they're involved in your everyday life. That's your wisdom, all right? So I'm going to turn this around because I wrote a love message for you. Yes, I did. see if I can, yeah, okay. This is a Tell Me Something Good section. Don't you know the birds sing for you? All right. I'm not going to say it in a guy voice because some of you here have, you know, females you're interested. Well, I can do it in both, right? We'll do Minnie and Mickey. We'll do Minnie and Mickey. I love puppeteering for you guys, or whatever you guys want to call it, right? Don't you know the birds, they sing for you? And then here's Mickey. Don't you know the birds, they sing for you and you alone, all right? I channeled that message and I just immediately, I thought about that Coldplay, the song, look at the stars, look how they shine for you and everything that you do. And you are all yellow. And then so this came out of one deck. It's Eternal Love, Reincarnation, Seeking Each Other, Seeking Yourselves. You're going to get a better understanding of who you are because of who you were. Is also going to reflect, if you do have a soul connection, into who they are and why they're doing things they're doing. And we have Gentle Soul, Kindness, Compassion, Loving Action. And then we have the Mirror to Your Soul, another connection, self-reflection. So in two different decks, and this is for some of you watching, not everybody, but for some of you, in two different decks, you got the twin flame labels. A lot of people aren't into labels. And there's a lot of people posting things now where they're like, it's all fake, it's all fake. And they're like saying, they're like bitter because I don't know if they didn't get to union or whatever, but they're like using their platform to make everybody want to reject their own journey. And that's your lesson, fight or flight, okay? Thank you for coming to my throne talk. I love you guys more than coffee. I'll see you real soon.